Okay, so we have some data about and information about the Jamnagar oil refinery. Like when we were reading the articles, like I found out today that it is the world's biggest, like largest oil city because of the Reliance oil refinery, and it is also known as the Paris of Gujarat, and it has quite bizarre other names apart from this. And when we were like when I was searching out, what I found is the petrol need or the oil needed in 1999, it was something around 129 million ton per annum. But as soon as the refinery was made, they produced 178 million ton per annum. So they have quite excess limit. And when the project and they when they started building the project, it usually takes around 6 to 18 months to start after making the refinery. But even after the making of refinery was completed, it just took them 60 to 90 days to start. It was in process, the production was on and everything. And the installing capacity was something around 6,68,000 barrels in 1999 when it was made. And right now it's around 10 lakhs currently. And usually it takes years and years to build an oil refinery, but this was made less within 3 years. And this is also a world record, like not a record, but it is the most less time consuming oil refinery build. And as you guys can see, it is spread on 7,500 acres of land, which is the one third of Mumbai's land area, only in Jamnagar, in a single city. Yeah, and apart from this, the investment was 25,000 crore, and they took they took less than 3 years to build this refinery and started so early within 60 to 90 days. And apart from that, the project cost was 50% lower than other refineries. Like I don't know what these guys did and how did they made this, but this is really amazing and cool stuff to know. And the learnings from this will be showed on the slide number 4. And now we have slide number 2, which will be presented by Joy.
Now, making this whole refinery set, like as Shiv said, it covers around 7,500 acres of land. So now even making this refinery itself is a mammoth task in itself, and they require a lot of workers, and not only just workers but skilled laborers are also required, and there was a lot of shortage of skilled laborers then. And also that time they had a plan to set up a institute where to train the normal workers and convert them into skilled workers. But then the shortcoming of this was that these projects are not lifelong. Once the refinery is made, फिर उन लोगों की जरूरत नहीं है वापस. So investing so much money in just training them wasn't a smart move from economic terms. So, but then even then they set up a critical training center and they converted raw talent into specific industrial skills. They taught them specific industrial skills, and this was said by RIL president, who is the president of the human resources, VV Bhatt. And at that time, there were government institutes as well called Indian Training Institutes, where and there are around 500 training institutes all over India. But still, they weren't getting the required labor, so they themselves set up this critical training center, and they created workers for themselves. In one of the instances, is that there were less welders, so then they sent 200 welders to CTC, and out of them, 125 of them became so skilled that they could do intense and high quality work. And even after the project got over, they could get good jobs with a lot of money in other companies, in other running projects. So, for example, if they were earning around 15,000 per day because of this CTC and the rigorous training, the training is of 2 years. Because of this training, their package goes to directly 35 to 40,000 per month because of CTC. So this was one of the highlights that they started during the Jamnagar project. Yeah. Can you move ahead, Shiv?
Okay, so now we are at the part where we talk about the successful project management techniques that these guys implemented in their project. When we heard the fact that, okay, they managed to chalk out and build and get the whole refinery running in 36 months, it sounds very daunting. But that is the whole aim with what they started. What Mukesh Ambani literally believes in is the fact that lost money can be regained, but lost time is lost forever. Time he considers as the most crucial resource, critical resource, and he like like a while back, Jagriti had posted a video about Parkinson's law on the general channel, and it spoke about how work expands with the duration that you give it. So if I have to complete say X task in 1 week, I'll procrastinate and do it in the end because I know that this is a task for maybe 1 hour. So the shorter deadlines that they kept and the ambitious goals that they kept, it kept them moving forward and going forward. So that was the base of their whole mission, or of their whole building this whole refinery. The second thing that they based it on is the fact that they did not just think from a capitalist point of view. They even included the worries of the community that is going to be affected from the oil refineries. They made sure that the environmental and ecological impacts are also taken care of. The third thing was they believed in consistent and careful execution, which was propelled by trusting their employees. Now, if you have inbuilt like trust on somebody when you're giving them the work, ki ye kar lega, and they're even supporting them in a way where it shows that, okay, I like the company has trust in them. So it just results in superior performance. Now, the main particular highlights of their techniques were out of box thinking. The reason that this refinery did so well was because they created value for their own refinery by making it separate from a lot of other refineries through integrating a lot of businesses together. Like they had the petrochemical business together. They also had the processing of the petrochemicals business together, and one more thing. And just yeah, power generation. So a so they integrated all these businesses together, and they were able to create much more value than just a simple refinery would. The second thing, they also designed the refinery in a way that it can process like virtually every single type of crude oil in the world. Now, through this, they were able to capitalize on the price differentials of the crude oil. So, जो price fluctuations होते हैं, because they're processing almost every crude oil, they were able to counter all of that and still earn superior returns. So these were two things that they banked on, and created a new way of having industries and refineries. The second one was system wise ownership, where the whole system was divided, whole team was divided, and work was divided into several sectors, sections, and systems. Around 1,000 systems were there. Every head was given ownership, and they were motivated with the fact that we are owner managers and we are not employees. They were given ownership. Then moving on to the next slide. Shiv? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I already
Thank
changed it.
you. Okay, I got it late. I'm so sorry. So, now 8,000 of these activities were tracked, and the performance was monitored daily in a war room where all the decisions were taken. So the most important lesson in project management through this case study was that they could get ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And all of that they were able to do by building a whole system in place, by implementing these techniques, which we have also defined in the next slide, how we can implement the same in our enterprise projects. So the result, as you can see, was the largest refinery in 1999 and one of the most successful projects in the world, completed at a cost that was 30% to 50% lower than other similar refineries in the world. This is, yeah.
Yeah. So this is suggestions for EP projects. Like right now, when we are working in Chandrayaan, when we started this project, we came to that just we are starting in within 2 to 3 days. So we had a quite short deadline. So we are working quite fast. So what I believe is, if we are starting a project and if we have 10 days to complete it, we can set a deadline of 3 to 5 days. So within our subconscious mind, we have that day to complete early and just see what it happens. So maybe we also have time to change some things, or maybe we can get some new ideas, what changes we can make. So setting a shorter deadline. And the third point, which is
This is
implementing as
a
soon
very
as the
powerful point, huh? Very, very powerful point.
yeah.
I
And one
like
more
how you
thing.
have expressed it also.
Yeah, thank you. And another point, which is implementing as soon as a task is decided. What personally I've felt is, when we are working in the Scrum at 10 a.m., we are so pumped up. So as soon as the meeting gets over, instead of getting up from your chair, just complete the task at that very moment. Because at that time, you have that enthusiasm to work with your team.
Hmm.
You're already pumped up. Like
Dude, I feel like coming there and giving you guys a hug. This is such a
yeah. And the next point, each system head was vested with ownership. Like when Shreya told, every one of them were given individual opportunity, so they don't feel like an employee or a small part. Instead, they can feel that they are a big part of this mission or a project, taking individual responsibilities and giving them leadership for their own work.
Hmm.
And like once Ishan told me that punctuality matters when you're accountable. See, if time pe aana won't work at 10 a.m. When you are at time, be accountable with your work. Yes. And the next point, which is highly detailed analysis, will be explained by Jay.
So one of the implementations that Reliance did during this refinery was that they did micro, I think micro leveling of every task. As in, every task before implementation, they thought of all the situations that can come up. For example, there were different factors that were taken into account: the complexity of the project, the resources, the processes, the challenge that they can face. There are a lot of challenges: environmental challenges, climate challenges, in and around challenges. There also might be potential fallouts, potential disruptions. So they took all of it into account before implementing it. So for example, in our projects, if we do a detailed analysis before itself on what all could go wrong, so I mean, it it helps us in being better prepared and make the project more successful, I feel.
superb.
Yeah.
The word over here, which all of you should remember, is this word called anticipation. The ability to anticipate what can go wrong. Very, very important. This is what you're talking about. Really good point.
Yeah, exactly. And as Shriya mentioned earlier, they had a war room where they used to monitor all the tasks. So now, so war room is also like a similar kind of Scrum structure, which I think Shriya would be better equipped to explain. Shriya?
All right. So, when I mentioned that they had a war room where they took all their decisions and they had to control 80,000 activities and had 7,500 employees, Their war room is also similar to the kind of scrum structure that we follow, where we take
Hmm.
major decisions about actions and what is to be done, how is it to be done, and then we go ahead and do it. Plus, with the fact that every partner has accountability and they take their own, they take ownership for themselves, as well as considering uh, deadlines that we have set.
Hmm.
So the war room structure plays out in this way. The last point is about trusting the team members for superior performance. Now, this is something that I haven't seen in enterprise, but I have seen in my mom working with her teachers. So, she the way she functions is that sometimes there are little things that we aren't able to uh, the teachers aren't able to account for. Now it is highly important that she should trust her teachers in order to know that okay, they will perform really well and they will consider these small facts as well. But if the owner, if my mom isn't trusting of them, then the employees themselves feel demotivated and they feel like uh, they won't be valued. So, in a way, psychologically as well, trusting the team members results in superior performance.